Okay, welcome back to the Wives Club podcast. We are here for another Wednesday, and we're excited about today's episode because we are talking all things pregnancy. So, we're going to get into some of your guys' questions, talk about the third trimester because that is what I am currently in, and maybe give some of our favorite products to help you through pregnancy. So,
you guys love our pregnancy episodes.
yeah.
When
There
we
can never be
We
enough.
love them too.
Yeah, there can never be enough baby content. So
Yeah,
we're
we
delivering.
really can't. And
There's
lucky for
always
all of
something
you,
to learn.
I feel like there's always going to be one of us pregnant. Lucky for all
Right.
of you listeners. So right now it's Sid.
So
But,
lucky for all of you.
Yeah,
We'll never run out of content for that.
we really won't. Or babies.
True.
All right, Sid.
Sorry,
So how many weeks pregnant are you? When are you due? This is your final pregnancy update going live.
Okay, I am 36 weeks pregnant as we are recording this. So I'm in the final month of pregnancy.
Stretch.
Yes, the home stretch. And yeah, I'm ready to be done.
When this goes up, you could totally have him.
True.
I mean,
Yeah, I
maybe
feel
not,
like-
but
Yeah. So I had
Yeah.
my appointment yesterday and I was like really excited for that appointment because up until then, the baby was not head down. And so I was really stressed about it. The doctors never really seemed to be stressed about it. Like no one ever really made it a big deal. But I was just like, okay, the last appointment I had, I was 33 weeks. So I was like, if he is not head down in the next 3 weeks, like something's got to go down to get him there. So luckily I went yesterday and I had an ultrasound, which I don't know if it's like normal to have an ultrasound at 36 weeks. I don't think any of you did
I
you?
don't think that's normal. I think it's because he
can't
wasn't head
remember.
down.
but I feel like
Yeah.
it's so different with every doctor. Like some people, I swear, get ultrasounds every time they go.
Totally.
And like I had two. I had one in the beginning and one for the anatomy scan. That's it.
Which is so crazy. Yeah,
I know.
I mean,
I
haven't
had two
one
others
since-
done, but not through my doctor.
Yeah. I haven't had one since 20 weeks at my doctor, but yeah, I guess I can't tell if my doctor was just trying to like not freak me out that he wasn't head down because they never made it a big deal and they didn't really like explain why I was having an ultrasound. Like they just kind of made it seem routine. So anyway, interesting to have an ultrasound that late in the game because you really can't see much. His face is like totally smashed and it's like really can't see anything. She
That's
seems
what I was
to be able
asking
to
you.
see.
Do you remember when I asked you that?
Yeah,
You were like, I'm so excited to see him. I was like, but will you even be able to? Because aren't they like squished?
he was so squished. So he was head down, luckily. And I think that's like, I mean, obviously, like you can imagine if they're head down facing your back, which is like the position they're supposed to be in, you would like not be able to see their face. So she
Yeah.
like printed 2 pictures for me and she's like, the first one says leg and the second one's his face. And I'm like, I literally have stared at it so long. I'm like, I cannot make out a face. Like, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm like, I don't know what angle it is. Like, it's so weird, but I guess everything looks good. I don't know, like, I don't really know exactly what they're looking for, but they were like, fluid looks good, looking at his organs, all of that. And I didn't get checked for
Cute.
dilation, so we're just waiting now, I guess. It's good to know that he's head down, so now I'm just waiting it out.
I feel like your
Nested.
next appointment, they'll probably check
Yeah.
Oh, for
So now I go every week.
a face. Yeah.
Yeah, so you usually go
Aw.
like every month in the beginning of pregnancy, you go to an appointment, and then once you're like, is it the third trimester? You start going every
It's
2
just
weeks.
30. I think it's just 32 weeks and 34 weeks. So once you hit 32 weeks.
Oh, I think I started going at 28 weeks, every 2 weeks.
I can't
Oh,
remember.
maybe it's
Pretty
3 of
sure.
them.
Like the third trimester started going every 2 weeks, and then at 36 weeks you start going
It's always so fun. I like look forward to it
every
every
week. I know, I'm like,
I know
"Ooh,
that was the
something to do
highlight
every
of my
week."
week. That's why, yeah, it was always the highlight. I was like, oh, my doctor's appointment today. I only got to go though, like twice for the
Oh, you poor
every
thing.
week
You
one.
had it.
Well, no, but like I enjoyed it. It like was the highlight of my week.
Mine was depressing because you'd be like, yes, like I'm making progress. I felt so much pain this week. And then you get there and they're like, you're exactly
Nothing.
the same. And you're like, great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
you're all hopeful, like, okay, this is gonna be the one where they tell me I'm 3 centimeters dilated or whatever,
They're like,
and you go.
Right.
They're like, maybe like a half a centimeter more.
You're like,
You're just
Same
saying that to be
face.
nice.
I know.
Like maybe. And I'm like, how can you judge that?
I saw a TikTok the other day and it was like a girl showing her fingers and she was like, this is what each centimeter like looks like with your fingers. I was like, that's how they check. I never knew
I've
that.
always wondered that. I'm like, are they just like really shooting it in the dark? They're just like, yeah, like
Yeah, I've literally
centimeters.
always wondered that.
The other thing that blows my mind is they'll like feel like the head and they're like, yeah, he's about 6 pounds. And I'm like, what? How do you know that?
That was
full of
also
crap.
a cool thing about having
I'm
an
kidding.
ultrasound that late is they could like, I mean, I think that's kind of how they can not accurately, but like
the
more
weight?
accurately see the weight. Yeah. So he was 5 pounds, 15 ounces. So
Oh, he's just gonna be a little guy.
he's going to be a little skinny guy.
Perfect
I'm
for
so
pushing.
excited.
I know.
I'm
I was
so
like,
excited.
Chris was like, is he too small? I'm like, I don't care. I want him to be small.
Okay, Brooks
I'd be
was
much more
really...
concerned if they were like, he's like 7
10
pounds. Yeah.
So Brooks was only 6'15", 6 pounds, 15 ounces, and he was 18 inches long. So he was super small. And in the first week,
You were
he
full term.
grew. Yeah, but he grew outside of me because by his first week appointment, he had grown to 21 inches and he was already 7.5 pounds. So I was very happy that he
Wait, he
decided
didn't-
to grow.
He didn't lose weight at his first appointment?
No, he was more.
Miles
for
lost
sure.
weight.
Every baby loses weight. That's crazy. Well, it's like very
that is-
common. I guess not every
Well, they
baby,
also
but-
he had like a cone head, and so he was like 19 inches, and she's like, that'll go down. But at his like first appointment, they're like, oh, he's 20 inches. I'm like, he is just growing so fast.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
it'll
your
be
girl on
nice
the
for you
outside.
to deliver a small baby. Hopefully he doesn't have like a major growth spurt in the next month and you're just like
I
pushing him
know.
at a 10-pound baby.
Well,
I think
I
about
also saw another TikTok or a reel on Instagram, and this girl was like, at the doctor's appointment, they're like, 5 pound, 38, like whatever ounce baby, like nice and small for you to push out. And then like, it's like the song that's like, oh no, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like a video and it's like 9 pounds, like 5 ounces. She was like, they were so wrong.
Delivered
like,
a
oh my
toddler.
God.
I
Yeah.
always think about that because I had Powell the earliest out of all of us, but I'm pretty sure he was the heaviest out of all of them, right? He was 7'4".
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I would have gone full term, and I would argue that I'm the smallest out of all of us.
For
I don't know.
sure.
Me and
I
Madison
wasn't
are
full
close.
term. Miles probably could have been bigger.
Bigger.
He had like another week to grow.
But I think about that all the time. I'm like, good thing
That
he
is, I
came
did,
when-
yeah, that
he
is
probably
funny.
knew. He was doing the math in his little baby head, and he was like, "Let me see, let me look.
He's
this
like,
isn't adding up."
I gotta leave. right
He's
now.
like, "I'm gaining by the
Yeah.
day. I gotta make my exit,
Gotta
or
get
else
outta
it's
here."
not looking good for me." Oh,
I
poor
know, it's
kid.
crazy.
But now he's so small. Like I feel
Oh.
like he's the smallest out of like
No.
all of them when they
But
were
he's
his
so
age.
chunky.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he is
so
a
cute.
chunky.
He's
little
to
guy.
the point where he's getting chunky. I love
I
that
know.
stage of
Double
Miles
His little
just getting his
cheeks.
fat.
Yeah, his
6 months.
thighs. Oh, 6 months is the juiciest age.
The chunkiest age.
It's the cutest. He is
100%.
so close to sitting
Before
up,
they
I just
start
can't wait.
crawling.
Yeah.
It
Anyway,
just gets so juicy.
So Sid, I feel like this has been the hardest trimester for you. Do you want to comment on it?
100%. Yeah, I mean, disclaimer for like everything we say, everyone's pregnancy is different. Like everyone experiences things differently and your body reacts different. But yeah, I definitely was like pretty straight chilling before I hit like 30 weeks. Okay, but it was the weirdest thing because 30 weeks to 33 weeks, I literally thought I was going to die. Like I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go another 2 months because every single day I would wake up in so much pain. I was in pain all day. Like it was just so terrible. And every day it was like I felt like it was something new. I would wake up with like a Charlie horse in my leg for like 3 days straight. And then the next day I'd wake up with like something else. I don't know. But literally at 33 weeks, or it was like a few days after, it was like right before we left to go to my family's house for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, it just went away. So I was having like sciatic, well, that's what everyone says it was like sciatic nerve pain. So it was like extreme pain from like my low back into like my hip, and it was like the sharpest pain ever, and it was pretty much all the time. It was kind of okay if I was sitting down, but like standing, walking, it was like the craziest, sharpest pain ever. So yeah, that sucked. But it literally, so then I was like, maybe it wasn't, like maybe I was like injured or something, because I don't know how I would have injured myself. I don't do anything, but I was like, maybe running through the airport or something. Like I have no idea what I
Were you
would
like
have
sprinting through the air? It's like Home
done.
Alone.
But we did at Thanksgiving. We ran because we were like gonna miss our
got
flight.
in late.
They were they were waiting for us, and so we like ran off our flight. And I was like, I haven't run like forever. So it was like the only thing I could think of. I was like, I don't know if I injured myself running or something, but that sounds
running when you're pregnant is so like, it's not, there's nothing to compare it to. Like you just feel so
heavy.
You feel like a fish out of water when you're running when you're pregnant. You're just like, this is not right. Like everything's jiggling, bones are crunching. You're just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You feel things on the inside that you shouldn't be feeling.
Yeah, it's so true. So anyway, if anyone experiences sciatic nerve pain like that, you'll have to let me know, or you can look out for it, because that was horrible. But it literally went away, and I've felt totally fine since. Now I just feel huge. That is the craziest part about the third trimester, is like I look back at pictures of myself literally from like the beginning of November, and I'm like, I am so much bigger than I was then.
Like that
like
last month, you just blow up.
It's so weird, because you think you're like, oh, like it'll kind of like level out, like the baby's not growing. Like, I mean, I guess they grow kind of a lot towards the end, but I don't know. You think it's not, you can't get bigger, and then you just keep getting bigger.
Yeah. You're just like, I can't endure another day. And then you do. You just don't have a choice, and you do it. And it's amazing. It's honestly pretty empowering. Someone was asking me, we're going to get into a Q&A later in this episode, but I had someone ask me the other day, like, or she asked me on Instagram, she was like, I just don't understand. Like, how do you do it? How do you do it? And I was like, honestly, just do it.
Yeah, you really don't have a choice.
I mean, you have a choice to get pregnant in most cases. We all chose that. But it's just like, honestly, it's a very empowering feeling.
Sometimes it makes me feel claustrophobic. Like I can't leave this place without going through an immense amount of pain. And that would freak me out sometimes. I'm like, in order to get rid of this, I think we've talked about this before, but like in order to go back to my body, I have to give birth. But I don't want to give birth.
Yeah, but you're like, I don't want to be stuck like this.
But I don't. Yes. But don't be afraid, because if you get an epidural,
I actually didn't mind giving birth.
It wasn't that bad at all.
By far the easiest part of pregnancy and recovery.
I don't know. Oh, giving birth. Yeah. After birth is not fun.
No, yeah. I'm saying the act of giving birth is literally a walk in the park. I would do that
if you have an
every
epidural.
Day. Oh yeah, well. I don't
People out there are like, girl, you have no idea.
Yeah, I took advantage of modern medicine. I didn't mess around. But yeah, giving birth is by far the easiest step out of the whole process. Like, pregnancy is hard, giving birth is not bad, recovering is hard, and having a newborn is very hard.
The newborn's the hardest thing for me.
I would say that's the worst part, is having the newborn.
It's the worst part.
I loved it. I just loved holding him.
Do you remember what it's like?
I'm gonna love it. I feel like Sadie did love it. I don't ever remember her complaining. Remember, she was just bopping around but
Miles was amazing.
He was
Miles
a good
was
baby.
like always sleeping, and he was like 5 weeks old, and I was like, I'm up every 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, 3 hours was a gift.
I was
3 hours
up
was
like
a
every
gift
2-3 hours. But
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, obviously it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
No,
I
it's
didn't
definitely
say it
hard.
wasn't hard, but I definitely enjoyed it because you just like sit there and hold him and
Yeah,
he can't do anything.
it
You're
is
just sitting there.
amazing.
Especially
So
now
cute.
having Miles as a toddler that's like into everything. You're like, I wish he would just lay there and do
And I'm like, just
nothing.
snuggle me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely precious and it's definitely amazing,
Percent.
but it's hard not getting sleep. Just for me, it was really hard not getting sleep. Like
Yeah, it's hard.
it's an hour and a
And
it's every hour and a half. And it's not like you just quickly feed them and they go right back to sleep. It's like you're up for an hour and then they're awake an hour and a half later and then you're up for an hour and then it's insane.
But you have to like change them each time
Yeah.
because they poop.
Your postpartum hormones are also just like so real. Like when people say postpartum depression, I didn't even have like real depression, but I felt like at least somewhat depressed for a little bit, and it's hard. So
Yeah.
it's
worst
normal to hate the time you're in.
I saw this meme the other day and it was talking about night sweats. Did you guys have those? That is
Yes.
literally, I would wake up in a pool of my own sweat. Just so excited for Sid's
We
little
should do
arrival.
like a full postpartum episode, maybe.
Yes, once we've all experienced it and have our tips and tricks
Yeah.
locked and loaded.
We
But
should
yeah,
also
I've been-
talk about like what to put in your hospital bag.
Yeah.
Might be a question, man.
Yeah, that would be a really good episode because I've been preparing for both and I've been asking all of them like their favorite stuff. So I think we should definitely do a future episode on hospital bags and postpartum gear. I literally felt so weird the other day checking out at Target with like my gigantic pads. I was like, this is not cute. This is not the look.
Wait till you're actually wearing the gigantic pads and you're walking
Then you
through
feel real
Target.
cute.
Can you see these through my pants?
Because you feel like you can.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like a few of my favorite products to like go through pregnancy, just like a few random things, and then do the questions. Is that okay?
Do it.
Yep.
Everyone else share if you have some too. The one thing I cannot recommend more, I don't think any of you, maybe Sadie did, had a pregnancy pillow. I literally do not know how you would get through pregnancy without one. It is the best thing ever. Maybe it's because I was just so nervous about sleeping while pregnant because if you don't know, you're supposed to sleep on your side. And I'm not a side sleeper at all. Like I could never sleep on my side before I was pregnant. And so I was really scared to like be forced to sleep on my side. So I made sure to do everything I could to be able to sleep well. It is the best thing ever. When we were gone for 2 weeks for Christmas and I didn't have it, the last few nights, I was like, I cannot wait to get back home to my pillow. Chris hates it because it's gigantic. So that's kind of like a downfall. It's like another person in our bed. If you are like questioning a pregnancy pillow, I personally cannot recommend one enough. It's like been the best thing ever for me. Did you use one, Sadie? I feel like you kind of did, or did you not?
I used Marley's and I didn't like it.
Well,
I just put
want
like a
one.
pillow in between my legs when I slept at night.
the reason I love it, so I have one that's like a U shape, so it's like a long pillow down both
That's
sides.
the one I would want.
Yeah, and I love it because I can put it up under my back, kind of like it supports my back and my belly. So like it's under my belly and it's like up under my back, and so I'm not just like free like laying, because especially when you have a big belly, like it's like so much weight pulling you kind of down. Anyway, so I love it, and I like that shape because I like having the support on my back too.
I would say that that's something I definitely am getting next time because I had such bad, like the side of my hip and my knees would hurt so bad in the night and my back, and I'd have to flip to the other side until that side hurt and then I'd flip back. So I had a bunch of pillows trying to create some sort of comfort. But it was too late in the game for me to buy a pillow. I was like,
Yeah.
whatever, I'll just do this. But next time I'm getting one because it
Yeah,
was
that
so
is the other nice
painful.
thing about having it on both sides is you can just flip around and you always have the long one to like go in between your legs.
Yeah, because my back
the, like,
needed it a
C-
lot.
Yeah, because like there's ones that are kind of like a C shape that you would like just
Mhm.
put on like the front of you. But then if
Yeah, I
you
need
flip
them
to
in
the other
back
side, you
more.
have to like bring it with you. So anyway, that is my number one product. I think McCall used like better like stretch mark cream and stuff. I feel like a lot of people ask about stuff like that or like want to know what the best stuff is. I have just like used some random stuff from Target. I use like the Palmer's stretch mark cream and the Burt's Bees body oil. Is that the one you use, McCall?
Yeah, I used that one. I liked it.
Yeah.
Wait, it smells good, right? It has like lemons.
Yeah, it smells really, it's kind of like
Yeah.
lemony honey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really
Yeah, that
liked
one smells really good. I hate the smell of the Palmer's lotion. I do not recommend that
Yeah,
one.
I have the
do not like
Palmer
smell.
one.
The Burt's Bees like
Body, it's like the mama butter.
butter has no
Yeah.
scent, but the lack of scent is a scent, and I didn't like it. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Did
just put
you
up
feel
with
like they worked for you? Did you get any stretch marks?
So I have used it. I know a lot of people use them like morning and night. I am not that way. I just use it after I shower. So I don't use it like every morning and every night. So maybe that would have helped. But I don't have any stretch marks on my stomach. I don't have any on my boobs. But honestly, I don't think they've grown at all. I feel like they've shrunk, to be honest. Which is really scaring me for afterbirth. Like, I just feel like it's going to be like a big change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's freaking me out. So I feel like as of now, I don't have stretch marks on either of those. And I already had some on like my thigh butt area, but I do have a few new ones. So I don't know if it like totally prevented them, but it does feel really good to at least be moisturized because your skin just
you
like
get really dry.
stretched and dry. Yeah.
It's just stretching so much. I didn't do it until probably like 16 weeks. And that might have been my downfall because I actually got the majority of my stretch marks
right at the beginning.
It was like right when I stopped working out because I loved going to high fitness, and then COVID shut down the gyms, and so I stopped going. And I was like, I'm pregnant. Like I don't know. I just stopped going as much, and I don't know if that was the reason. I felt like that's like when I actually started gaining weight in my pregnancy. It was around like 16 weeks, but I got so many stretch marks on my like thighs and butt and hips, like so many. It looks like I've been clawed by a bear. They've gotten a little bit better, but honestly, like they're bad. But it like I was so bugged at first. I was like, oh, I should have been doing my creams. I should have kept working out, but I'm over it now. I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I have stretch marks. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Part of me feels like though, if you're gonna get them, you're gonna get them.
You're
like,
just, yeah.
No,
I feel like it's genetic. I mean, me and McCall are sisters, but I guess we don't have the exact same gene because she's showing me hers and I don't have like any. The only place I got them was on my boobs from their growth. But like, I didn't get, and I used the Palmer oil on my stomach, but like, I just feel like if you're genetically going to get them, there's nothing you can do.
Totally.
So, I mean, you can
and I
try,
kind of accepted that
we'll
too
see.
because I already, like I said, I already had some before I got pregnant. And so I definitely knew I'm capable of getting stretch marks. Like it's not like I don't get them. So yeah, I totally agree that you get them or you don't. I don't really think any like oil is going to keep you from getting them. But it is good to have like something really moisturizing because you do feel dry no matter what. And then the last like two things I was going to say, I think a few of us went to the chiropractor when we were pregnant, which helps a ton just with like aching, growing, stretching, everything. A lot of people too, I feel like can get like weird pains in their neck or whatever. But yeah, I think a lot of us did that when we were pregnant and recommend that.
It saved my first trimester. I had headaches like no other. And if you have headaches when you're pregnant, go to the chiropractor. Just do it. Don't question us, just do it.
Yeah, I think it does help a lot.
Postpartum. I went postpartum. It was amazing because your body is so jacked up from having all that pressure and then having it gone and then nursing, like my back and hips were just like, and everything's going back to normal. Like your rib cage is sucking back in and like your hips are moving back in. Everything was so out of place. So I recommend it after you give birth.
And then my last little thing is just a belly band. I also don't know if any of you used this, but I love it so much, especially like towards the end. I feel like my stomach is just so heavy. Like just walking around, I always tell Chris, I'm like, I just feel like weighed down. It just feels heavy to even just walk around. But it also has helped my lower back a ton. I have tons of back issues. And so even if you don't, I feel like your lower back probably hurts. So it just feels so good to just like tightly wrap up your back and hips and have like a little bit of support at the bottom of your stomach to just not feel so like weighed down. Lots of benefits there. I definitely recommend that. I don't think it's like a necessity, but I have really enjoyed it, especially if you work. That was one thing when I worked at Bath and Body and I was on my feet a lot. There was no way I could have made it through without wearing like that band the whole time because it like supported my back so much.
My biggest pregnancy must-have is Tylenol. There's a reason to pop that sucker every day.
True.
And Tums. Goodbye.
Yes.
I buy Tums like no other.
Chewy, get the Skittle tasting.
I knew you were going to say that, and I totally disagree. I tried what
regular
McCall had
Tums are
some,
nasty.
but those ones don't work. Those ones honestly gave me more heartburn. I don't feel like they work very well.
You didn't think they worked? I really didn't struggle with heartburn that badly, so maybe they didn't work and I just didn't notice.
Yeah, I think the coating is what makes it like still kind of be like ugh, in your throat.
All right, well, we wanted to do a little Q&A to end the episode, just a quickie little one. We asked you guys a few questions, or you asked us a few questions on Instagram, so we're just going to touch on a few of them. I'll start it off. What do I need for my first baby, and what do I need for recovery? So we actually want to do a huge episode on this upcoming, but just a really quick answer. The main thing you need is a place for your baby to sleep, obviously. That's like when you get home from the hospital, that's literally all you want set up is just their crib, their bassinet, whatever your situation is. You want that set up and ready to go. And you need diapers and wipes, onesies, blankets, swaddles. And then for recovery, the hospital will actually give you a lot. So if you don't want to worry about it too much, you don't have to. But we are going to do a full episode on this soon. So stay tuned for that. Does anyone else have like a quick answer for that? I don't want to dive too deep into it because we are going to.
I know it's like so. That's such a big.
Yeah, that's I was just gonna say, don't be afraid to ask the hospital for more. Like that was my best advice from my sister-in-law. She was just like, take advantage of all the hospital stuff. Like if you want more underwear, just say like, could I have a couple more underwear or like a couple more giant pads, or is there any more tuck pads I could take home? Like they have tons of stuff. And if it's in your room already, they're gonna throw it away if you've already been around it, especially with COVID now. So take everything.
One thing you didn't know about pregnancy and was surprised by it.
I always say my ribs.
Oh, really?
I think that was just something that I was not expecting, and maybe you guys didn't get it as bad, but my pain in my ribs was like my worst, most confusing pain. I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm just growing in my ribs. I went from a 32 in my bra size to a 34 or 6.
Was it from like, it wasn't from him kicking your ribs. It was from your ribs.
No,
like,
it was my growth. Yeah, expanding to make room. I mean, obviously I knew he was going to kick my ribs, but like, I just never knew that they expanded. Like I had never thought about that. And how they do that, I don't really understand, but it's weird.
Yeah. One thing I didn't expect was my milk it didn't come in, but I started like leaking colostrum at 16 weeks pregnant. I did not expect that to happen. I never knew that was going to happen. I remember vividly laying on the bed and it just started like leaking out of me and I freaked out and I was like, what is happening? And honestly, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and Madison is like one of the only ones that said
No
this
one
happened
had.
to her too. I'm like, what's
Yeah,
going on?
I said that too, and no one, my mom was like, that never happened to me.
Yeah,
Like,
all my
and I'm like,
sister-in-laws.
what the
no,
heck?
super strange.
Like,
So that's
stained
my
my
I remember if
clothes.
mine, like, if it was a lot or just like a little bit. Something that I like expected it, but I didn't really, it was weird to experience was like gagging at stuff, like your gag reflexes. Like I would brush my tongue and I would throw up. Like it's so weird how all that works. I was like, what the freak?
I couldn't
like-
talk in the mornings or else I would gag.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, I remember you being super gaggy, Sadie. I will never forget Lucas telling the story of when you threw up in the parking lot of your apartment
I
complex.
know.
It's so funny.
It's amazing.
It's not funny, but the
No,
way
well,
Lucas
I
tells
was-
it is just so funny.
I was sick or something. I had like a bunch of like mucus because it was in the fall or something like that. And I coughed and like mucus came up. I like threw up.
Like gagged on it.
Oh.
So
It was
gross.
like we were literally just walking to the car. He's like, I just look over and just like standing in the middle of the parking lot. She just like bends over and throws up. It was so funny.
Oh, it's so gross.
So sad. I would say the one thing I didn't expect, obviously you expect to gain weight, but I would say I did not expect to gain weight in so many other places than like your belly. Like
Yeah.
you don't just like get a big belly, you gain
Your
weight
thighs.
Yo, my
in
butt.
like yeah, in like everywhere. And it's all I almost feel like I've gained weight more in other places than my belly. Like I feel like a lot of us kind of were like that. Like I don't have
Mhm.
a gigantic huge belly, but I've definitely gained weight. And so I definitely did not expect to like see so much weight in different places than just your stomach.
For sure.
Did you guys struggle with getting pregnant or did it happen right away? I hate this question because I feel bad that all of us, like, it happened like right away. Like, we all got
Yeah.
off birth control. Sadie, it took a couple months, but the rest of us, I feel like we're very surprised. Like, we're all like, oh, it'll take us a couple months. And literally, like, our first period after birth control, we got pregnant. Sadie didn't even, Sydney didn't even have a period, I don't think, right?
No.
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
we're
like,
all very lucky.
I know we're so blessed and lucky because that's one of those weird things I feel like I always thought about and stressed about before you get pregnant is you just don't know what it's going to be
Yeah,
like
if you're
for
gonna just
you.
have miscarriages and stuff.
Yeah, you just don't know. And like the only thing I had to go off of, I feel like I've said this before, but my mom, it took I'm the oldest and it took my parents 5 years to have me. And then every kid after that, my mom had to be on some sort of fertility medicine. And so, and it was the same for her sister and her mom like kind of struggled too. So I was just like, I just had no idea what it was going to be like for me. So we're definitely really lucky and super blessed to have that happen quickly because I know that can be
Yeah.
really hard to want it
Yeah.
and not have it happen quickly.
Yeah, we're all very lucky. What is the best and worst part of each trimester? I feel like the second trimester honestly is so easy. Like I feel like there is like
It's
that's
the
just
best.
the best. The
You
best
literally
part.
feel like
is.
yourself. It's
There is
amazing.
no worst of that part. Like it's
No,
just
it's
so
so
great.
true.
You're not
You,
too
like,
big
kind of-
and you're not
Yeah,
sick.
you look kind of cute and pregnant, but you like feel great. So it's
Yeah.
just
like
fun.
work out. I would say there's the one thing in the second trimester that hurt me. There was only like one symptom, and it was that your, what's it called? The ligament pain, because everything's
Oh,
growing.
ligament.
Yeah.
That's probably the only pains I had.
I mean, I definitely still had things going on, but overall that was like the best
It's
trimester. Like I don't
don't know if
remember
there's-
really complaining about much in that trimester.
Totally.
What would you
The
say
worst,
is the best about first trimester? Everything sucks.
No, I think like the excitement of like finding out you're pregnant and like keeping it a secret with your husband and then like telling everyone, like that is
I guess
so much
Your
fun.
first ultrasound is probably the best because you get to
Yeah.
see their heartbeat for the first time. Because I feel like before you have that, you don't even believe that you're pregnant. Like you're just like, I know I feel like crap and stuff, but there's no way this baby is like actually like growing inside of me. Like,
Yeah.
I remember
It's
especially
so
with Sydney,
exciting.
you were like, I'm just gonna go there and they're gonna say there's no baby here.
I
Like, what are
know,
you
'cause I
talking
really
about?
didn't have a lot of symptoms. Like
That's true.
I didn't really have like morning sickness or really anything. Like being tired was my biggest symptom in my first trimester. So I know a lot of people, like if you're like throwing up, you're like, okay, something's like
There's
definitely
something
in there.
Yeah.
But I do think the first trimester is so exciting, and you like find out the gender, and
Yeah.
there's just like so much fun comes with that.
There's a lot going on.
I think it can be stressful, I guess, for that reason, is you just like don't really know what's going on in there. You can't feel them moving.
Right.
And so I feel like that would honestly, besides like weird symptoms, that would probably be one of the hardest parts, is you like are excited and there's so many exciting things happening with like first being pregnant, but it's also kind of stressful.
I guess you don't really find out the gender till second trimester technically, because you have to be
Oh,
like
yeah, I guess
14,
you're right.
15 weeks.
I guess you're right, yeah.
And then for the third trimester, I feel like the best is like, you're nearing the end, but the worst is seriously like, it's just so uncomfortable. There's no way around it. Like people can breeze through their first and second trimester, I feel like you might not have a lot of symptoms, but there's no escaping the third trimester of pain and discomfort and kicks in the ribs and kicks in the pelvis.
But
And
I actually really like
Amen.
kicking. I like being able to feel him. So that's probably my favorite thing about the third trimester, is that like I felt him all the time. Even when it was annoying, like I could at least know he was there. And like even when hiccups were annoying, I still kind of loved like, oh, he's hiccuping right now. Like it's just cute.
I do love feeling them move.
Yeah.
did
so
you
cool.
ever feel his hiccups? I remember you saying that you haven't felt them yet.
No.
Oh, you have a
No.
no hiccup
Really?
baby. You're lucky.
Man, mine was
honestly,
like
maybe I
every
have.
day.
Because that's okay. This is a question for you guys. When did you start feeling Braxton Hicks?
I
I
never
had
knew.
him pretty early. So I'd say around when you like 35, 36 weeks, I had them like every day.
I remember in Lake Powell, I was really pregnant in Lake Powell. I don't recommend. I think I was like 35 weeks pregnant at Lake Powell, 35 to 36. And my sister-in-laws were like, you haven't felt them yet? You haven't felt them? I was like, I don't think so. And then I was wearing a swimsuit and they're like, you're having one. Like, look at your stomach. And I was like, I am? Like, I don't know. I was really confused. It just gets
Yeah,
really tight. But I never felt pain or anything. I don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm having them, but every time I go to the doctor, they're like, any contractions? I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm not recognizing feeling anything different. So
Well,
maybe I
here's the
have
thing
felt
with
hiccups,
me.
but I'm just like out of it. I'm not paying attention, but everyone says you would know, so I don't
You'll
think I
know.
have.
You'll know.
What was everyone's biggest craving?
Jimmy John's.
You bad girl.
I know. I ate deli meat, sue me. I literally never, I think I've had Jimmy John's twice in my life before I got pregnant. And then when I got pregnant, it was all I needed in life. It was so good. And like, now that I'm not pregnant, I don't think I've eaten it. And maybe I've eaten it twice. I don't even think.
That was my biggest craving. I wanted like cold sandwiches.
Oh, so good.
Did you
They
have
just
one?
felt so healthy, and they're
I,
still
like,
kind of
had-
bland.
I had them like if I went to Jersey Mike's because they do like a gluten-free bun. I had them like cook it like to warm
yeah.
the meat up.
Like
But it
warm.
was never the same. It's like I don't know, there's just something about like a cold sandwich that's just so good.
So good.
I know.
I loved pickles. It's so true that
Right.
that's a craving. The best pickle I had was I was 10 weeks pregnant, and me and my sister-in-law Sam were both like the same amount of pregnant, and we went to Disneyland, and we both got the massive pickles. And for some reason I had never had one, but I was like, I want one so bad. And
You've
it
never
was
had one from Disneyland?
I hadn't until this time. And I don't know if it was just
There's
being pregnant.
nothing better.
There's nothing
But
better than a
it was
Disneyland
the
pickle.
best thing of my life. Like I was like, this is so amazing. Like it was so good. I could have
Yeah.
eaten like 3 of them.
I
So
love a
good.
Disneyland pickle. Disneyland,
Oh.
please reopen. I need your
Can we
pickles.
please?
My biggest craving, I've had a lot of like random ones, but the one I feel like that's stuck is Diet Coke. I literally never drank Diet Coke. I literally don't even drink soda. Like, it surprises my family so much every time I crack open a Diet Coke. It's so weird. I don't know why. It tastes so good to me. And it's just,
I love it.
it's so good. It's so funny because I've never been a soda drinker, especially like dark sodas. I don't usually like, but I love a nice cold, mostly not even Diet Coke. I actually like Coke Zero better. Coke Zero.
Coke Zero is better.
Oh, it's so, so good.
Have you tried the Coke Zero with cherry and vanilla? That's Dallin's favorite. And
that's Chris's
I
favorite
actually
too.
like that one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like just the cherry better. The vanilla kind of makes it a little sweet for me, but we hunted down cherry vanilla for Chris.
Makes me happy that you like soda because I'm the only one that's like addicted on here, and I feel like everybody's like, ugh, Madison's getting another soda. That's gross.
Well, Madison's always been a big soda drinker, and
Always.
none of us really are. And and I was so sad too because right when I started craving soda, I moved away from Swig, and I was like, what I would do for a Big Al at Swig right now. I've never ordered that in my entire life, but oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
It's lime. It's what Mom gets. It's like Diet Coke and lime.
Fresh lime, yeah.
That's what I get, but with Dr. Pepper. There's only it was just instances where things tasted amazing. Like, I will always remember that I was living with my brother and sister-in-law while I finished up teaching. And I was probably 8 weeks pregnant, and I came home and I was starving, and I drove through Wendy's and I just ate it in the parking lot. And it was the best Wendy's I've ever had. Little chicken nuggets and the French fries. And I was like, I should have gotten 8 nuggets. This is so good.
You didn't get 8 nuggets? I get that not pregnant.
Okay, it was because
it was skinny over here.
We were about to go to dinner in an hour, but I was, you know how you just have to always eat. So I didn't want them to see that I was eating right before we were going to eat. So I was like, I'll just eat in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I should have just gotten more.
That is so true. You definitely have to eat more. Every 2 hours, I need something.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I would wake up in the middle of the night and have to eat. I totally forgot that. It wasn't
you did that too.
It wasn't I could just roll over and forget about it and take a drink of water and fall back asleep. It was a piercing hunger that if I did not go get a granola bar or some sort of fruit snack or something, I wouldn't be able to fall back asleep. I totally forgot that. So I just started having snacks in my nightstand. And when I went to Disney World, oh my gosh, this is all flooding back. I went to Disney World when I was 13 weeks pregnant with my family, and the TSA guy was looking through my carry-on, and it was 80% snacks. And he was so concerned for me. I was like,
I am that way too.
That's those are mine. They're
I flew with my sisters.
Paw Patrol.
Oh well, because we've been doing such long flights, and so if I don't have a bag literally stuffed full of snacks, I'm I would have died. And I flew with my sisters in November when I was 28 weeks, and I pulled out my bag of snacks and I was like, girls, do you want I was like, granola bar, anything? And they're like, you're literally already a mom. But I was like, the embarrassing thing is these snacks aren't for my kids, they're for me. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm not
the snackage is real.
Yeah, it is
so bad.
It's a hunger that you need now. It's not you can be oh, usually you're oh, I'm hungry, but we're eating in an hour, whatever. No. You gotta eat now.
Well, especially in your first trimester, if you don't eat then, you're gonna throw up or just be stuck in bed.
Yeah, it sucks.
So this is a super fun episode to reminisce on everyone else's pregnancies, my last pregnancy update, and so everyone look forward to the birth episode, birth story episode coming up, and we want to do some more after I go through all of the things with having a baby. We can do some more postpartum and baby essentials and all of those fun episodes. So look forward to that. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Give us a rating and a review if you like what you heard. It really supports us and the podcast and helps us to be able to keep doing it. So pause right now and go leave us a rating and review, 5 stars. And we put out a new episode every Wednesday, so stay tuned for all the fun things we have coming this year, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.